Hello and welcome to the parent briefing ahead of the Year 6 residential on the 5th to the 9th of December. Just wanted a few minutes of your time to take you through some of the planning and organisation, but thank you so much for those of you that have registered your child so far and have completed the online paperwork that goes with that. So, as I say, the trip is due to take place on the 5th to the 9th of December. Okay. The cost, just important for you to know, although don't panic, there is no cost to you, but this trip is not cheap, £547 per child. But 85% of that's been paid through some bids that I've made to the Outward Bound Trust and to Provident Financial Group. And then in order to keep this residential trip free for you, the remaining 15% of the cost has been built into the school's budget for this year. Therefore, the only cost to you is optional, and I'll talk about that slightly later on. That cost includes the insurance, its travel, its accommodation, food, activities, so everything. So I'm sure you're pleased to hear. This is where we're going. Let me show you some pictures. Just to give you an idea of what an amazing location this is. So this is North Wales. Does take quite some time to get there, but once there, I've done 6 or 7 of these trips before from this school, and I've always been amazed and joyed at the response I get from the children about the environment that we're in once we're there. So it's well worth it. Well worth it. Okay, so the Outward Bound Trust have a number of centres across the UK. Abu Dhabi is their largest. State-of-the-art social areas, bright review rooms to review the activities that they've done, purpose-built equipment storage, and just a great place to return after a day of adventure. In addition, just down the road from the main centre, they've got private waterfront activity and jetty facilities as well. So when we go, we're going for 5 days, as I said. These are the aims. This is what I have told the Outward Bound Trust that we are aiming to get out of the week. So what I want is that the children increase awareness of their own skills and abilities. I want them to improve their confidence and self-belief in their own ability. To have improved ability to listen and communicate effectively with others. And it's really important when you're supporting somebody else with an activity that you are able to do that, and they will learn that quicker than the other aims there. Also, it's important that they get an increased awareness and concern for the natural environment. And the Outward Bound Trust will be talking to them about having a positive impact on the environment whilst they are there. Hopefully when they come back, they'll be able to explain to you what that means. And because it's a tough week, away from home for 4 nights, most of them won't have done, but they will maybe be doing some activities that they've not done before in environments that they've not done before. And so increasing their resilience and determination is also a key part of the week. So, whilst all children that go will be focusing on those 5 things through the activities that they're doing, this is not like other, maybe other outdoor adventurous activity residentials where, you know, for example, each group do rock climbing up a plastic climbing wall on a site. You know, this course uses the natural environment. So if they are rock climbing, they will be climbing rocks. But each group, based on how they get on, particularly with the listening and communication at the start of the week, as the week evolves, the activities will be decided by the group leader in conjunction with looking at weather forecasts and you know, how their skills and abilities are developing. So it's really difficult for me to sit here and tell you everything that they're going to do, but here's a bit of a rough idea. So we arrive on the Monday afternoon. They will get a tour of the centre. They will meet their group leader, who will talk them through the plan of activities for the week. And then there will be, as well as going to their rooms, finding their rooms, they will be set at a challenge activity straight away and through into the evening. That'll build into some problem solving tasks, as well as that really tests out that listening and communication and resilience. Through Tuesday, they will have a progressive challenge activity, some of which may be on site, some of which may be away from the centre in the local environment. And it will be about building self-confidence, being responsible, and again, building on those communication skills. Through into Wednesday, it's about developing the confidence that they've got as a group and how they look after one another. And into the evening on Wednesday, building confidence through the successes that they've had to date. Then on Thursday is the biggest event, or the biggest challenge they will have, about putting the things that they've learnt together through a bigger activity on Thursday. And then Friday, they'll be reflecting on what they've learned for the week and how they transfer that back into their lives in school and at home ahead of a 1 o'clock departure. So each group will get a slightly different experience to bring that about based on how they're getting on, but the aims will remain the same. So staffing, so the school, we are taking male and female staff, including several leaders. But just to say that the centre staff will be leading all activities. They will be supported by ourselves, but whatever the activity, how many instructors it requires, the centre will be providing where there is additional adults on those activities. So, as I said, I am going. Miss Nuttall is going as Year 5-6 leader. Mr. Seawood is going. Miss Barham, Mr. Stone, and then Miss Dyer, who's one of our student social workers. So that makes up the team of 6 from school that will be going on the residential. So, as I said, it's a long way to North Wales. We will be travelling by coach. Coach company is from North Wales. It's really key to me that the last hour is quite country roads of the journey, that it's a company that know the area. It's far easier to not know the area and drive on the motorways down this side of the country, but to make sure there's a company. So we're using the company we've always used. But as you can see, that is an early start on that Monday morning. So the instructions nearer the time they're going to need to be here before that 6 a.m. departure, because we need to toilet, pack the coaches and be ready to depart at 6 a.m. Any late departure just impacts on how the motorways are flowing through the rest of the journey. We'll be stopping a couple of times on the way at service stations, and staff will manage that process at the time. And then coming home, said we're leaving the centre around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, but we are heading towards the busy motorways then for our journey home. And so whilst we hope to be back by 8 p.m. on Friday the 9th of December, that is very much determined by traffic situation, and we'll be updating you through that afternoon as to how we are getting on. Accommodation, so the children will be in rooms of either 3, 4, 5 or 6 children in those rooms. They are bunk beds. There are showers and toilets within their accommodation blocks, and interdispersed with those pupil rooms are the staff rooms as well. So the staff have different toilets and showers to use, but they're all in the same houses. So there's a house for the girls, and a house for the boys. The food, for anyone who's got a child that's been before, will know that how important food is when you're doing outdoor adventurous activity for long periods of time during the day. If you think your child is a fussy eater or has got specific dietary requirements, as I have, then hopefully you've filled out that information on the electronic form from the centre. They are likely to be in touch with either myself or you to have a conversation before arrival. The chef is fab and has been able to meet any needs that we've had before regarding diet. Kit list, just to say that, and to reiterate really, don't go out and buy waterproofs and hiking boots because one of the beauties of this type of course is that those types of equipment come as part of the course. So they will be given waterproofs for the week. So that's a waterproof jacket and waterproof trousers. They will be given walking boots too. If they're needing a hard hat for an activity, they'll be given that. If they're needing a harness for an activity, they'll be given that. If they need a head night torch for an activity, they'll be given it. Okay, so all of that type of specialist equipment is provided by the centre. What you need to make sure that they've got is layers, because we're going to North Wales in December. You know, it could be wet and they'll be given waterproofs, but it also could be cold. Could be glorious, but it could be cold. But they're also doing a lot of physical activity. So it's really important they're able to manage their own temperature by removing or adding layers of clothing. So it's really important that you pack enough for that to happen throughout the week. So we need them to have packed named items of clothing that include more than one sweatshirt, lots of casual t-shirts, thermal top, if they've got one, is a good idea. A raincoat for just when they're not on activities, because their activity waterproof might get wet, but they won't have it for the journey there and the journey back. So they will need a coat. Jumpers and fleece tops, we've got multiple ones of those. Thick and thin walking socks. Now, don't go out and buy thick socks if you haven't got them, but pack double the amount of thin socks. Okay, they will go through socks as the week goes on, so just make sure there's plenty of those. They need trousers or jogging bottoms, but please no jeans. They won't get an opportunity to wear them. They retain water like you wouldn't believe. They're just not practical for this week. They will need 2 pairs of trainers. As I said, they will get some hiking boots, but they will need 2 pairs of trainers, one of which you don't mind them getting wet. They will need underwear. It is the most forgotten thing on this trip, so please double check that they take their underwear and some pajamas, because they're going to be in shared bedrooms. Shorts are a good idea for when they're in the accommodation in the evening, but it's unlikely that they'll need those during the day. Hat and gloves is very useful, as are towels and swimwear, which they might need to, if they have a water-based activity, they will get a wetsuit, but they'll need to wear swimwear underneath that. Useful items to take: a notepad and a pen are a good idea for a 7-hour bus journey. Sunglasses, fingers crossed, and sun cream. It's amazing, even in December in North Wales, with a little bit of a breeze and some sun, it is possible to get sunburnt. So sun cream is a good idea, as is a blister kit. Disposable camera. It's not practical to take an expensive camera or a camera linked to a phone because of the nature of the activities that they're doing. But a disposable camera is much more robust, but also, cost a lot less as well. Insect repellent, it's unlikely to be needed in December, but it just maybe if they're around some water, that might be a good idea. And books and magazines are always a good idea for the trips and the evenings as well. Gifts. So I know some of you have seen this already through the Arbor app, but I've been able to agree with the Outward Bound Trust that they will put together a little gift pack if you wanted to purchase one. It will contain a water bottle, a wristband and a notebook. That's £8 for that. You can order now, not by the 20th of February, but by the end of October. And then you can order that and pay for that on the Arbor app. So once we get back after the October break, I will know how many of you want one of those, and I'll order those direct with the centre. What that does is it saves a huge queue at the shop on one of the evenings. We gain an evening back by ordering the stuff in advance. Things definitely not to bring. So smartwatches are definitely a no-no. Jewelry, they won't be allowed to wear any of it for any of the activities. So please just, it's a lot easier if they don't bring any. Phones and tablets. As I said, part of this week is about them being dependent, gaining in confidence. So no phones, no tablets, no stereos as well. The accommodation fire detection systems are rightly set to very sensitive. So it's no aerosols, it's roll-on deodorant. They will need a roll-on deodorant, but no aerosols because spraying deodorant spray does set the fire alarms off. And just to clarify, no pen knives either. We have a set procedure in place for residentials that's common in a lot of schools. That means that there's no direct contact between the group on the residential and home. So if we have an emergency on the trip, then it will be Mr. Presnell will highly be likely the person that we speak to, and then Mr. Presnell will liaise directly with you. What that does by having that system in place, it means that if there is an emergency on the trip, the staff on the trip can deal with managing that emergency rather than, have they got good enough mobile phone signal to get a message through and things like that. The reverse of that system is in place for if you've got an emergency and need to get a message to your child on the residential. So you will be given a contact number in the final trip details where you'll be at a phone. And again, it would likely be Mr. Presnell that answers that call. He can take that message and then communicate that with myself and the other staff on the residential trip. We'll use the school email system to update you on when we've arrived and things like that, and particularly on the way back with how that arrival time for the way back is going to be used. But we'll also use Twitter during that week to give you a bit of a feel of the week. And what we're going to do with that is the staff who are on the trip will take photos during the day. And in the evening, we'll sort those, send some through to Mr. Presnell, and then he will upload those to Twitter. So if you feel it's quiet during the day, that's because we're focusing on the activities that we're doing. We will be taking photos and then we'll update Twitter each evening to give you a bit of a feel as to what's going on. Right, safety. Just to say that I've had a lot of paperwork rightly that I have to complete ahead of this residential trip. The Outward Bound Trust comply with all relevant legislation and are licensed under the Adventure Activities Licensing Regulations of 1996. All of the individual activities are fully risk assessed. Any of our staff and any supporting staff from Provident have got vast experience of taking pupils on adventurous trips, but our promise to you is that if us or centre staff are not confident that any child has listened to and understood safety instructions, we will not put them at risk by allowing them to take part in that activity. There's a few more pictures there for you. As you can see, stunning, absolutely stunning. I mean, they don't do it justice, but I mean, it is just an amazing place to spend a week doing outdoor adventurous activities. And you can see from that bottom right photograph, you know what I mean by we're not using plastic stuff, you know, that's low level traversing along a rock there that you can see in place. All right. Okay, so what next from you? If you've not done so already, then please complete the Outward Bound Trust participation form that we sent a link out for last week. If your child takes regular medicine, then when that final letter comes out on the 18th of November, which will have all the final details of the trip, you will need to let me know. You need to come in and fill out some paperwork so I know what medicine that is and when that needs to be taken, and I can have a conversation with you about that, and then work everything out around that medication. But that's it for now. Thank you very much for listening. If you've got any questions, by all means, email in to the office. Of course, I'll answer those. Thank you.